Hello. Welcome to the Smile Revolution Show. And here's my new friend. She wanted to say hello. She's from London, from East London. She's a pin. And she has a big smile for you. Anyway, whoever's watching live or on replay, thank you so much for joining me. And let's see. So, who am I? I am a woman of many hats. Actually, I make the hats. I went to school for it. I went to hat school in New York City, the Fashion Institute, many moons ago. And I'm an interviewer, you know. I had a radio show years ago, way long time ago, and then I got back into doing this during the pandemic, back into interviews because I enjoy doing it. And I'm also a painter, but I paint on fabric, on clothes and hats. And I make jewelry. Let's see what else I do. Oh, and I do one-woman shows. So I'm actually, my new one-woman show is called Woodstock or Bust, How a Hat Designer Started a Revolution, the Smile Revolution. And it's going to be on November 9th. If you live in the city or anywhere near the city, or you want to come up to the city for my happening, it'll be November 9th to Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Pangea, Pangea, New York City on the Lower East Side. And so I'm really excited. So my tickets are going to be on sale soon. I'm just in the middle of getting everything ready to do that. But I'm doing a save the date, and I'll let everybody know when the tickets go on sale. And I previewed it in London in April. So I have other news. Yesterday, let's see who's on. Hi, thank you. Oh, thank you. So yesterday, August, today's the 7th, 6th, 2023, whenever anybody's watching, we recorded, Rowan Musa and I wrote a song with Tom Pacheco and Pete Seeger, depending on I don't know if you're into folk music or what generation you're in, because not everybody knows who Pete Seeger is, but he was a folk legend. And before he passed on, we wrote a song with him in 2013. And we're finally getting around to recording it. So we did that yesterday in Woodstock, New York, at Tom DeSisto's recording studio, DeSisto Music. And anyway, it was really fun and really grateful that it took a decade to do this, but I guess now is the time, which is what it's called. Now is the time to do it. So we had a lot of performers involved. Let's see who else. Spook Handy, Lydia Adams Davis, Journey Blue Heaven, Terry Blaine, Richard Barone, David Burns, Diana Katesha Hernandez, and Michael DeSisto, who contributed vocals and instruments. So thank you so much to them. And let's see what else. So this is actually my postcard for my show in London. I'll just show you all. And so I'm making a new one this week for my New York City performance happening. And let me read you a few quotes here before I get into my interview with Mary Lee Kortes, who's amazing, and I'll read you a little bit about her. Okay, so this is from a magazine I found recently. I love the magazine, real simple. And there's an article about smiling in it. Okay, so Theodore Roosevelt said, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." And let's see what else. Wait a minute. Okay. Michelle Obama, "For me, becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously toward a better self. The journey doesn't end." And then Lily Pulitzer, well, because of the Barbie movie, the rage is now pink, which I've been wearing pink for years, but now it's like everywhere. "Anything is possible with sunshine and a little pink," Lily Pulitzer. And let's see what else. "Well done is better than well said," Benjamin Franklin. And let's see what else here. I always love quotes. That's what I consider true generosity. You give your all, and yet you always feel as if it costs you nothing. Simone de Beauvoir. And then what else do we have here? Walt Whitman. Do anything, but let it produce joy. Okay, so that's that. And then this book that I'm reading, The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Thanks, Laura, for sending it. I've been listening to it on Audible too, and I love listening to his voice and he's reading it. Think to yourself, I'm just here to create. So anyway, this is his words are like really helping me a lot. And so I keep listening to it and reading it and picking it up. So it's really good if you're an artist. Well, he says that we're all artists, we're all creators. So, okay, so I'm going to read a little bit about Mary Lee Kortes. Perhaps the New York Times described her songwriting best when it called the songs of Mary Lee Kortes so meticulously crafted they sound completely natural. The Village Voice agreed, calling her a masterful songwriter and clearly one with her own voice, says Rolling Stone, proclaiming the bright bite in Kortes's voice combines the high mountain sunshine of Dolly Parton with a sweet iron undercoat of Chrissie Hynde. Well, anyway, it goes on, and she's really a fascinating person, and you'll see she's really a delight. So here we go on my interview. Hi, Mary Lee.
Hi, Mindy.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm happy to be here. The hatted women.
Thank you. Yes.
The hat heads.
Hats and glasses.
Yes.
So anyway, you and I met through Richard Barone.
Yes.
About what, like maybe 4 or 5, like maybe 5 years ago. I don't know, I'm guessing because it was in the Village on 8th Street. Remember?
Right.
So that was like
an event.
He was having an event, and we met briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are, years later.
Yep.
And we adore Richard, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'll be seeing you in November at the Carnegie Hall.
Yes.
I'm so excited, aren't you?
Oh, I am so thrilled. I'm so thrilled.
I know. It's going to be great. It's Music Plus Revolution. I've been talking about it because I just had Steve Adabo on my show.
Oh, I just emailed with him today.
Yeah, I love it. I've known him for years, know. And so, yeah, I just had him on my show. We were talking about it because he's the music director, you know.
Uh-huh.
You know that. Well, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Anyway, and I was telling him I got tickets the first out. It went on sale July 11th at 11. I got tickets at 12, front row. And
Excellent.
He waited a week for his family, friends to get tickets, and he's in row L. Because the tickets, I think, are all probably sold out by today. I don't know. He said
probably, yeah.
3 tickets left as of yesterday. Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be amazing. Music Plus Revolution. It's based on his amazing book, which I've interviewed him. Have you read the book?
Yes.
Oh,
it's fantastic and so important.
It's an amazing book.
Yeah. It's good to have that all in one place. And he's been teaching this course, at NYU.
Right.
Subject.
Yeah, I know. It's in, and the book it's in other universities in the music departments. It's an amazing book. So anyway, back to you. But you were part of that. That's why I mentioned it and how we met everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, as I've been looking into your career, it's amazing. The New York Times says the songwriting is so meticulously crafted, they sound completely natural. And
I liked that one.
Huh?
I liked that one.
Yeah. And the Village Voice said a masterful songwriter. I mean, your accolades go on and on and on. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
it's been nice.
It's really, it's amazing. And when did you actually start? Okay. I know you're from Michigan originally, and you're now based in Brooklyn, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been in New York?
I moved here sometime in the 80s. So I've been here a really long time. I still have my Midwestern accent.
Oh, I still have my Baltimore accent.
Yeah. I still
Yeah,
say
it's hard to get rid of
hi.
it.
There are no one syllable words in Michigan because of the diphthong. Say hi. Everything's at least
Okay,
three
okay.
syllables. But yeah, I moved here. Um, I forget exactly what year it was, but I've been here a long time. I decided that I had this image in my head of I wanted to climb the biggest mountain, and I thought that was New York City. And I
Yeah.
came here wanting to be a singer and a book editor, and they didn't really have a lot to do with each other.
Okay.
Um, but I've managed to do both.
Yeah,
And
I know.
I love New York City. I'm still in love with it. I just love it. Some people really don't,
Hmm.
but I thrive on it.
Well, it's a special place. It really is.
It's great for songwriting because for me, songwriting is I'm just walking through my life and stuff pops into my head. I don't know why or where it comes from, but to be in a walking culture it's great for a songwriter. It's great for this one anyway because things you just see things, and I kind of think in melodies. Very often when a phrase pops into my head, I hear a melody along with it. So
Mhm.
that's New
Oh,
York
that's
City
neat.
is
Uh-huh.
my home.
Now, when did you start writing songs?
Oh, I started shortly after getting, well, let's see. Yeah, I didn't write. Oh, I did write one song when I was working at a summer job at Wolf Lake Dude Ranch in northern Michigan. And I wrote a song called Morning Comes Softly to Me. It's a goofy little song.
Uh-huh.
And I told my father I'd written a song, and he laughed at me. And so my fourth song was recorded by Amy Grant. So
Wow.
I said, I guess I'm onto something. So
Oh,
laugh
that's
at that, Dad.
amazing.
Um, yeah, so I started, my first song was long ago. Then shortly after getting here, I started writing. I and had some success pretty quickly.
That's amazing. So do you play instruments too, or are you a songwriter, singer?
I play guitar and piano. I
Okay.
I generally write in my head first. I
Okay.
hear a melody in my head first, and then go to an instrument and figure out what the chords are.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I write from a singing point of view, I guess.
Okay.
I'm singing in my head.
Okay. Oh, that's great. I also came to New York in the 80s too,
Yeah.
from LA. I was in LA and then came here. But I always loved New York City, and growing up I used to come with my dad, and then I was anyway. So I've always had a connection with New York since I was a child. So anyway, okay, so let's see. Okay, so your current CD that or album that just came out. Is that
Uh-huh.
your fifth? Is that your fifth one? Because it says here four. You've had four CDs as Mary Lee Korvette.
Yeah. I let's see. One, two, three, four. It's my sixth release,
Oh,
but
okay,
my fifth of original material because I did the Blood on the Tracks cover.
right. Bob Dylan cover songs,
Right.
right? An album with Bob Dylan, right? And so you've had international acclaim with your Mary Lee's. Now, what is Mary Lee Korvette? You did a series. As is that your was that your band before?
That's always been my band name.
Oh, that's your band name.
What happened is when I started performing um, in the East Village, that's when I first started performing. It was after I moved here. And that was the mid 90s, I think. And I felt like I really loved the way that the musicians I was working with influenced my songs, the parts they came up with. So I felt like it was more than just me. It was more of an entity. And I wanted to come up with a name for it. And nothing really was working. Nothing really fit or felt right. And one day I got one of those things in the mail. Remember those things that used to come, the Publishers Clearinghouse contests,
Right.
enter this contest and win $100 million or. So I got one of those things in the mail, and it said, Mary Lee Kortes, you have won $75,000. or a free Corvette. And then it had a picture of a little, like this size, of a red, black, and blue Corvette. And underneath each one, it said Mary Lee's Corvette, Mary Lee's Corvette, Mary Lee's Corvette.
Oh, that is funny.
And Eric was home with me, Eric Gamble, my husband, and he looked at it and he said, "There's your band name." So I cut out the cars and I made a little flyer. That's back when you used to send out flyers in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
And just said Mary Lee's Corvette playing at the Mercury Lounge.
That is cool.
Or Chennai or wherever the gig was that.
Uh-huh.
And henceforth we were Mary Lee's Corvette. And then so I hadn't put out an album yet. So my first album came out as Mary Lee's Corvette. So I just always recorded under the Mary Lee's Corvette until I did the Beulah album, because it's more of a project, and there's a story that goes along with it, and hopefully eventually a film.
Okay. All right. So you can talk, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So Hal Willner, who is, you can tell everybody about, not everybody knows who Hal Willner is, but I do. He was a very well-known music producer and worked with Saturday Night Live.
Yes, he made a lot of albums. He did a number with Lou Reed. He got, I think his first notoriety came from producing the tribute albums to the Disney theme songs. Stay Awake. Had a lot of people singing Disney theme songs. Bonnie Raitt, Rufus Wainwright, Sid Straw. Oh, I'm forgetting, a million people singing, these sort of odd pairings. And
I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh yeah. So he got a lot of acclaim for that. And later on, he also produced Lucinda Williams and Marianne Faithfull. And this was his last individual artist album, actually. He produced a Mark Bolan tribute after this. My manager at the time thought Hal would be a great producer for this project. So he sent him all the goodies and we had a meeting, and Hal Willner, who's seen a lot of stuff, right, said to me, "I've never seen anything like this."
Wow. That is so cool.
Yeah, that was kind of thrilling. Mm-hmm. So it took us a while. We did a crowdfunding campaign and eventually got into the studio and made this album.
Tell everybody about it, though. It's really fascinating. And the Alternate Route magazine, I guess, said it's quite simply spectacular.
Yes, this is based on a short story I wrote. Called The Songs of Beulah Rowley. And Beulah Rowley, well, I'll go back a little bit further. I was on tour in the UK, and I was promoting the album Love, Loss, and Lunacy, and I was thinking about what do I want to do next. And I also write fiction and I write other things. I thought, well, I'd like to include some other kinds of writing with the next album, but I don't know what that means, what that would look like. I didn't want to just do a collection of songs. So I was in London. I went to sleep that night with this question in my head: what's my next album going to be? I woke up in the morning with this woman named Beulah Rowley in my head, who appeared to me as a Midwestern singer-songwriter from the Depression era. And I immediately had the idea for this song called Born a Happy Girl, which I wrote most of on the spot. So I finished my tour. I went home, still possessed by Beulah, and wrote her story. I wrote her short biography. And then proceeded to write, over a few years, a whole batch of songs by her. And so this then got presented to Hal, and he found it fascinating. And the thing that I tell people, because they get confused when I talk about Beulah, is she real or is she not real?
Right.
And I say, well, just remember, just because I made this all up doesn't mean it isn't true. Because there's a truth about this story that really resonates with people. Mm-hmm. The theme being, I think, your voice may get heard even if you don't know it. Because the story of Beulah is she wrote a lot of these songs, stored them in a wrought iron piano bench, and she went to bed one night there was a fire in her home. Everybody died, but the piano bench remained because it was made of wrought iron, and
Hmm.
traveled over the decades through flea markets and families and ended up in my living room.
Hmm.
And I was a young budding musician myself, learning to play the piano, sitting on that very bench.
Yeah.
And it had gotten locked shut over, and we couldn't get it open, but we could hear things rustling inside of it. So on my 10th birthday, my dad asked me, "What do you want for your birthday this year, Mary Lee?" And I said, "Open that bench."
Wow.
So took it to a local locksmith, got it opened, and woo, I looked inside, and there was all this beautiful handwritten sheet music, lead sheets, faded notes and words, and also a bunch of diaries. So I deciphered all of this stuff, and I fell in love with her music and decided I'm going to grow up, become a famous singer, and bring her music back to the world where it belongs.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's an
So
amazing
here we are.
story. It is incredible. It is so neat. And I've been listening to it, and it's amazing. And I'm so glad to know about, to learn more about you, and about this album and everything that you've been doing. It's amazing. So it just came out, right? I mean, when did it
Yeah,
get released?
it came out in April as part of Record Store Day, so it's still available only on vinyl. Look at how pretty it is.
Oh, yeah.
Get it while you can. You can get it
Uh-huh.
on my website.
Oh, you can only get it on your website?
Well, it's available in some record stores.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I want you to see the beautiful sheet music.
Okay, let's
Isn't
see.
that pretty?
Uh-huh. It's neat. It's really neat.
Yeah, and
Oh, so it's not in CD, it's just in vinyl?
it will be in the fall.
Okay.
It'll be yeah, we're making CDs and it'll be streaming and
Okay.
available. So it'll
In the
be
fall.
fully available
Oh, in the fall.
in the
Okay.
fall.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. That is so neat. So us also, I was up in Woodstock months ago, and I was at the bookstore, the
Golden
bookstore.
Notebook.
Yeah, and I at the in Bearsville, and I stumbled upon your book,
Yay.
Dreaming of Dylan.
That's what we want to hear. It's in the store.
Yeah, and I started looking at it. I was like, wow, I was so fascinated by that, by your book. And tell us a little bit about that. How did that come to be? You have a history with Bob Dylan. I mean, you've toured with him, and right, and you.
Yeah, and what happened is, and this was even before I did Blood on the Tracks, I had this recurring dream about Bob Dylan. I'd have it about once or twice a year, where we're in a restaurant in the West Village. It's this little place, like in the ground, like sort of slightly underground. And there's brick walls, not unlike this brick wall. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, and little candles with this little table. And Bob in the dream says to me, "Mary Lee, I want you to know I really like you. I think your music is great, and don't ever give up." Those are the 3 things he told me.
That's amazing. That's
So
amazing.
so, I wake up from this dream. I'm high all day because Bob Dylan has just
Yeah,
told me he loves my music.
but he said
And,
the same dream kept reoccur. The same thing,
yeah, we're in
really,
this
like the
restaurant.
same
Yeah,
words, everything. That's
tells me I'm
incredible.
great, loves my music, and I should
That's
never give up.
that's
So
amazing.
so after one of these dreams, I was walking around the city, in my dream afterglow,
You're in a great, yeah.
and it hits me, I can't be the only person dreaming of Bob Dylan, right? There's
Hmm.
gotta be other people dreaming about
Right,
Bob Dylan.
right,
He's an
right.
archetypal figure.
Exactly.
So I put out a post on expectingrain.com and said, "I'm collecting people's dreams of Bob Dylan." So they started pouring in, and
Wow.
I, I so I started collecting all these dreams, people's dreams about Bob, and they're fascinating and they're so entertaining. Um, and so I finally, years later, I got a publishing deal with BMG Music for my songs, and they started a book publishing division. And they loved my idea and put out my book. And I got it wonderfully illustrated. It's really cool. Gosh, I feel like I'm doing an infomercial with you, Mindy.
This is great, right? No, it's great.
I mean, it's just wonderful. So it's been the most wonderful trip.
Wait, let me see. I want to see those. Who did the illustrations?
Well, a number of people. The book is designed by Mark Melnick.
Okay.
There's some Kevin Walters, who lives in Nashville, did a bunch.
Okay. And how did you get the illustrators? How did you get them?
Rena Root did this illustration, which is also the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel Root did many of these photographs.
Okay.
And then we have some famous photographs also.
Now Dylan he's seen it, right?
I don't know if he's seen it.
Oh, okay.
I sent it to his manager, Jeff Rosen.
Yeah, right, Jeff.
And so.
But you don't know if he's actually seen it. I think he would like it. Well, you know him though. Didn't I read something? What is that?
It's going to be hard for me to get back. This was a photograph of a paper, newspaper that said Dylan for president. Okay. There's a Dylan collector named Mitch Blank. He's one of the most well-known collectors of Dylan memorabilia, you could say. And he's now an official archivist for the Dylan Museum in Tulsa. So we went to his place and looked at all the stuff he has to gather some of the images for the book.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, Dylan apparently liked my Blood on the Tracks. That was featured on his website for quite some time.
Well, that's what I thought. And then years ago, didn't you have this dream or this thought that you wanted him to love your music or something? And then
yes.
Right? That's the other part.
Nice, Mindy. You read the foreword.
A lot of research.
Yes, it's really, this funny thing happened, which I'd totally forgotten about until I did the book. But my very first recorded release was a 12-inch dance single under the name Kortes, the most popular mispronunciation of my last name. And it was called Put Your Body On. So it came out on this indie label, and it made a little bit of noise, not a ton. So around the time it came out.
And that was in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Okay.
1990 it was.
Okay.
I went back to Michigan to spend Christmas with my sister, and I was watching MTV, and they were interviewing various artists about what their favorite records of the year were. Mm-hmm. And I saw Ice Cube talking about somebody, and in my mind, I hallucinated that Bob Dylan was being interviewed on MTV, and he said that his favorite artist of the year was Kortes. So, we can dream, right?
Right.
So fast forward to 2003, my Blood on the Tracks gets reviewed in Rolling Stone by David Frick. It gets 4 stars. There's a big color photograph of me, and they know that it's on it's on the Dylan website as well. Underneath my photograph, in big red letters, it says Dylan Fave.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yep. That is incredible.
That's amazing. Yeah. You had that hallucination years earlier.
I know. And
then there you go. Your life is like fascinating.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's really
imagination. Cool. Imagination it's the best thing in the world, really.
Well, you have a very strong one.
Yeah, but don't ask me to pick a restaurant.
Okay. Huh?
Don't ask me to pick a restaurant. I'll go to the same place all the time.
Okay. So, and also you've toured all over the world. You've toured with Bob Dylan. You opened for him and you toured with him, right?
It was just one show at the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Okay. But still, when was that?
That was 2004, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Was that after the Dylan Fave? Yeah, that was after Dylan Fave. Okay, so he already knows that he loves your music. Okay. And you've also toured with Ian Hunter, Steve Earle, Joe Jackson, and Los Lobos, right?
Well, I've opened for some of them. I toured
Open.
all over the world with Joe Jackson. Yeah.
And he's on your record?
Yes, he guested. He
That's
guested on
really
You.
neat. Oh, that's
He
great.
he's been supportive. I told him about this when I first started working on it, and he's always really been enamored of the idea. And he played actually on some of my demos before I made the final master tracks. People say to me, Joe Jackson played on your demos. I go,
That's amazing.
yeah, more luck. Yeah, it's a charmed life.
It is. Now, how did you meet him?
We actually had the same manager for a while. So Joe was looking for an opener for his tour, the tour where he got the original band back together. And so he got a hold of my music and really liked it, and said, yeah.
That's
So we
great.
did the US, we toured the US with him, and it was going so well that he asked me to do Europe with him also.
That's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
neat. That's great. So now, when did the Dylan book come out? Your
That came
dreams.
out late 2018.
Oh, okay. Okay. And do you have a I mean, your publisher, I mean, is it in a lot of bookstores?
Well, I don't think it's in very many bookstores these
Okay.
days, but
No,
it's
I'm just
available
asking, I'm
online.
curious. Huh?
You can get it, you can order it through my website
Okay.
or go to Amazon, or there's a, if you prefer the to support the more indie world, there's indiebound.org,
Okay.
Barnes and Noble,
Right. Oh, so you can get it on Barnes and Noble, and you get, I know, on Amazon, and
and
then
I
it's
think
in
Goodreads.
stock and Goodreads. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm sorry. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. I just like to rock. Haha.
No, I'm not dizzy. Okay, no, it's okay. And then you also are doing something called song therapy.
Yeah, that's been an incredible experience. It started, gosh, '05 or '06. A woman named Valerie Gent has an organization called Feel the Music, and she got a funding from the Red Cross years ago to start this organization to offer music and art programs to people who lost family in 9/11. And I'm sorry, can you still see me? Somebody's calling me. I have to decline it.
Yeah. Yeah. What I do is I turn everything off, do not disturb, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah. There we go.
Yes, it will see you now. Yeah.
So Valerie had this organization. It's still active and offering these music and art programs. And I asked her if I could do something with her. So I started teaching songwriting classes to kids who'd lost family in 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And it allowed me to experience the real therapeutic aspects of songwriting, which are undeniable. I mean, I know that from my own experience. And I decided I wanted to do more of that. I actually went back to school and got a master's degree in social work so I could do more of that, have more credentials in it. But it's been really fascinating, and I've gotten to work with, kids who are sick, kids who've survived terrorism.
Oh, that's great. That's really neat.
Wonderful, wonderful thing. And, everybody knows the cliche about music healing, but it's so true. It's something we're hardwired to be impacted positively or at least emotionally by music.
Mm-hmm.
It gets into our nervous system.
Definitely.
Immediately.
Yeah. I've been singing every day my whole life. I mean, I was only singing in the shower, my whole life until I met. Well, anyway, we're not talking about me, but no. Anyway,
Why not? It's your show.
Until I married a musician from Woodstock. We're divorced, but we're still working together on projects with music. But Roland knew stuff too. Was close to Pete Seeger. I got into that's how I got in the whole music world, was through him, and then everybody else. So anyway, and Richard Barone, who I met through Pete. I met him with Pete Seeger and Roland. So that's how we met, is all through the grapevine, kind of just expanded.
All roads lead back to Richard
Barone, right. And Pete Seeger and Roland for me. Yeah.
It does go a little further, but
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So anyway,
Yeah,
I sing and play ukulele and
right.
everything, and it all happened because of all this. Anyway, so but you also you do the song therapy in schools, hospitals, and you've gone to Iraq and Northern Ireland as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's taken us places, that's for sure.
Oh, that's really neat. That's really great. That's wonderful. And then and so your husband is a musician and he plays with you in your
And a
band.
record producer also, yeah.
Huh? He's your what? He's your producer.
He's a record producer as well as a guitar player and
Oh,
an artist, and
uh-huh. Oh, that's great.
Eric Gamble, yeah.
Eric Campbell, right. And you're playing there, you two of you are playing at the Carnegie Hall.
Yes, we're playing together at Carnegie Hall.
Okay,
And we
cool.
just had a wonderful weekend. We were in Lenny Kaye's Nuggets golden anniversary. That was an amazing.
Oh yeah, right. I heard about that. What is that? What is that?
What's
Is that
Nuggets?
his is that Lenny Case? Is that an album? I didn't really understand exactly what the Nuggets is.
Oh, it's a collection that he started in the 70s, putting together hit songs that he wanted to make sure they were all preserved in one place.
Oh.
And and he just released a second volume on Record Store Day, the same day Beulah came out.
Oh. Oh, I see. And so that's what you did it was this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really neat. I didn't really understand. I just okay, so now so he does it what every year?
No, this was the 50th anniversary
Oh, it's
of when the first album came out.
Oh, I see.
No,
Okay.
73, obviously. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. Okay, good. And then you also are, play on your album, Sean Pelton and Lenny Pickett, as well
Yep.
as Eric Gamble, your husband, and Joe Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So is that like your band now? Your official band?
Oh, gosh.
Or do you
Not
have it?
really.
You're not doing the Corvette
Joe
anymore.
Jackson's not in my official
I know
band,
it's
no.
not your band. You're right, it's not your band. He was a special guest. So
No.
do you still have Mary Lee Kortes, or no?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
ended. Oh, you still do.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a new album in the works.
Oh,
Yeah, so the core band members are really Andy York, who also plays with Mellencamp, Jeremy Chatsky, who's played with, he plays with a lot of people. He was he's played with Bruce Springsteen, for example.
mm-hmm.
Um, and he was Ronnie Spector's musical director for a long time.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, Conrad Meisner on drums. And my accordion player's name is Joe Chiafalo.
Oh, that's great. And then you also recently you sang with Amy Rigby.
Yes, we had a wonderful night. It was my
God.
record release show. Yeah, at City Winery.
Oh, I see. So, but you played with her before?
Well, we've been on bills together before, but we never did a night together. It was just the two of us. So it was pretty spectacular.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've just been getting into her world too, and she's amazing. She's so. I'm reading her memoir now, and it's really great to get it deep dive into her world.
She's an amazing writer in so many ways. You know,
Yeah.
she. I don't even know how to describe. She just has a way of presenting a scene or an image in her prose that's just it's delicious and moving, and it's never overdone, and it's never, but it's rich enough that you're right in the moment with her.
Yeah.
Really fantastic and unique.
Yeah, and her songwriting too is
Well, there's that.
fascinating. I mean, it's so, I don't know. It's hard to describe it too. I mean, she's such a great songwriter too.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact. Yes, definitely. So is there anything else that you wanted to wrap this up to talk about, to mention?
I think we've covered pretty much everything. I'm sure I'm forgetting something because I always do. But
I think we did cover pretty much, right? I mean, I think all your you have so many amazing accolades on your work, and but I think we did.
I know one thing.
Okay.
One thing so I was really excited to be asked to contribute a track to a Pete Ham tribute album, which is called Shine On, which has just come out. And I was especially excited because Shelby Lynn is on this album also. the Mavericks, Melanie, and Dan Baird. Oh gosh, I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of prominent people. But Eric and I did a track for this album. It's actually the lead-off track. We did a demo, a song that hadn't been recorded by Badfinger, but was just on a demos album that had been released on, I think, Rykodisc. So it's out now. Shine On, Pete Ham tribute. I'd love.
And how do you find that?
Well, it's on all the places. It's on Amazon, and
So, okay.
streaming, and it's CDs. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so that's exciting. Okay, great. Well, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. And
thank you, Mindy. Thank you so much for having me and shining a light on Beulah.
You're welcome. I'm happy to. It's really exciting, and I look forward to seeing you and talking to you again another time. And it's
I'll see you at Carnegie Hall.
I'll see you at Carnegie Hall, not
sooner.
too far away. And that's it. So anyway, thanks so much for taking the time to be on my show. I'm really grateful. And
I'm grateful.
Good. Thank you. I'm glad. Good. Okay. Well, we're both grateful.
You're right. You can't have too much gratitude, really.
Right. Exactly. And we have to be able to smile more. So we need to be grateful. So anyway, thanks so much. And Mary Lee, it's been a pleasure. And I'll talk to you later. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, Mindy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I hope you all enjoyed it. Now, I do have a music video of her song, one of her new songs. So I was supposed to play it before, but oh well, hopefully if you're still on, you can hear one of her music videos from her new album. Here we go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that and my interview and the video. And so I'm taking a hiatus the rest of the month in August, and I'll be back in September. And I'll probably I might be doing a few things like, I don't know, some solo shows here and there. I don't, we'll see how it goes. I just have a lot of other things going on right now, and preparing for my new solo show and happening in New York, and design orders, and a lot of things I'm working on. So there's lots of videos and interviews I've been doing for the last, I don't know, 2 years. So if anybody wants to watch any of my, on shows on demand, I have lots of interviews. Richard Barone too. I don't know, all kinds of people. Steve Adabo, my earring just fell off, who I just interviewed last week, who's an Grammy Award-winning record producer, musician, and he's amazing. And if you missed that, there's many more to watch. So love you all. Keep smiling, keep sweet. Join the Smile Revolution, and I'll see you all later. Bye. And here are my credits, if I can find them. I will be, let's see. Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want to give you the wrong. Oh, here we go. Okay. Night, and see y'all later. Bye. Thanks for watching. It's called the Smile Revolution that comes, goes round and back to you. So smile, 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 a simple smile will do. Smile, 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 and come back to you. Bye. Thanks for watching.